Hey everyone, good morning. Listen, today I want to talk about staying invisible. What if the reason you're feeling stuck in your life isn't because you don't know what to do? What if it's because you're trying to remain invisible? Saying yes to everyone, keeping the peace, trying not to make any waves, staying busy so you don't have the emptiness of nothing to do. Really, what we're talking about is safety and our comfort zone. So stick around. We're going to go through this in this video, and I'm going to show you how your comfort zone might not be the most comfortable place for you. Hey, if you're new to me, my name is Kim, and I started this journey of getting unstuck in midlife, probably 10 years ago. And I had some things happen. I'm going to tell you about me and how you can get unstuck in your life and start moving forward. Not only move forward, but move forward with a purpose. Honestly, feeling safe or comfortable in your life, it really is an illusion. Familiar routines feel safe. Staying unseen feels safe. And not speaking up feels safe. But being safe or being comfortable is not the same as being fulfilled. When you stay invisible, you don't risk rejection, but you also don't risk expansion. Someone who is trying to stay invisible is someone who is not facing hard decisions, is someone who doesn't say no when they really want to say no. People pleasing, avoiding trying something new, which just keeps you in this state of confusion and this thought that just keeps going around in your head, because I know it did for me. I don't know what to do next. I don't know what my next step is. And it's so common for women in midlife to get to this point. If you're like me and a mom and you've raised your family and your children don't need active parenting anymore, right? That's just one thing. Let's just talk about that for a second. Or your kids have come back. You thought they were gone and now they're back. As adult children, they don't need you like they needed you before. And so for me, it's kept me in the space of, okay, she doesn't need me anymore. Where do I go from here? That's the whole empty nest. I identified myself as a mom for so long, and now that I'm not a mom, though I am, you know what I mean, it changes. It's different. It's not the same. That identity has changed. And it took me a while to step into a new identity. That's where we can get really stuck. And in the stuck energy, we can start playing small. I did for a long time because I was too afraid to move forward. And I was too afraid because what happened for me was that 3 years ago, my brother passed away. My brother was the last sibling that I had. I'm the oldest of four kids, and all of my siblings have passed away. None of them lived to be 60 years old, and both of my parents are gone. At 60, I found myself alone, and I found myself not knowing how to move forward because who I was when my siblings were here, I was not that person anymore. I didn't know how to identify myself as someone who has experienced this incredible grief and this incredible loss. And I stayed stuck there for a long time because it was just easier for me I didn't know how to move forward. So I stayed in this place of being stuck and in this place of being kind of frozen in time. It was almost like this, no man's land. That's really a good description. I wasn't who I was anymore. I didn't know who I was becoming. And so I just stayed in this place of kind of floating back and forth, but never really getting my feet on solid ground. I pulled away from my friends because I didn't know how to be with them anymore. I just needed a reinvention. I knew I needed to change, but I just didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to move forward. I quickly realized, don't know who I am anymore. Like those tapes just kind of ran in my brain. And those became the thoughts that I identified as a person who doesn't know how to move forward, a person who doesn't know what her next step is, a person who's 60 years old, who's thinking about potentially retiring at some point and not having a clue what any of that meant for me anymore. That's where we get stuck. And Staying stuck and stagnant, nothing moves. We cannot move forward if we're in this place of kind of being frozen in time. And staying in this place of feeling stuck and frozen felt safe for me. I wasn't risking anything. I wasn't ready to risk anything. If you're not ready to risk anything, it's okay. My only thought about that would be just consider what you might be willing to risk. Start small, start where you are. If you are a person in midlife who is just kind of lost, maybe you've been through some loss, maybe you've experienced some grief. I mean, we all do, right? Midlife, there's so much grieving in midlife. It's really about letting go of who we were to be able to embrace this new person that we're becoming, right? I mean, that's the whole process in midlife. What I love is if you're scrolling on social media, people say lose weight. People say to start moving. People say, start taking this pill and that pill, and everything in your life is going to change. Go get a new hairstyle. And all of those things are good and fun and helpful, but not if those are the things that you're relying on to get you out of this place of feeling stuck, because it's an identity issue. At our core, it's an identity issue. Who was I now that my family was gone? Who was I? That I was no longer an active sister or an active daughter, right? I didn't have a daughter relationship with anyone anymore. I didn't have a sister relationship with anyone. Who was I now? My daughter had left. She was in college. So I truly was by myself. My husband, right? It's myself and my husband. Bless his heart, he couldn't help me. He didn't know what was happening to me. He stuck with me. I mean, that brings me to, the next thing. Maybe you're in a marriage or a relationship where it's just like it feels dead to you. Maybe you're questioning that. Who are you outside of this relationship that maybe you don't want to be in anymore? Say nothing about the courage to make the decision to leave or to move on. I'm not promoting that at all. I'm just want you to understand that those are all things that we think about and we face in midlife. So for me, when I was looking at the rest of my life, I always thought my family would be here. I at least thought some of them would still be here and that I would be able to still have those relationships. So now it was up to me, right? The whole, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I mean, that was never more true than now. And I would guess that that's never more true for you either. If you recognize these patterns are in this place, people want to keep us where we are. People they like who we are. They like what we do for them. They start to get a little insecure when we change. That includes your closest relationships, like with your spouse or your partner or your kids. They know you one way and suddenly you're like, yeah, I'm not that person anymore. And all of these things, we have to reach in and unearth this new courage, make new decisions. And that's scary. Show up in our relationships in a different way and say no when we don't want to do something. Contribute to a conversation where people don't really like what I'm talking about. It's those kind of things. We don't know what's going to happen. Our relationships could change on a dime. The only person that we have a gut level responsibility to is ourselves. That's a hard one, man. When we've been giving to other people our whole life, to suddenly stop and look inward and ask yourself, what do you want? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to spend your time with? Yes, it's easier to not make those decisions. But how long have you delayed the things that you want in your life for other people? One of the things a place that I got to after my brother passed away and my siblings were gone, and I had time to really look at those relationships. They were not always the healthiest of relationships. I had a role that I played in those relationships just like they did. That role was gone, and I could now, when I got there was some freedom in that, to not have to show up for them like I've always shown up for them. Like I get to decide now how I want to be. I'm not saying it was the best way to get there, but for me, it just was. There was nothing I could do about it, right? They all had their own race that they were running, and it ended so early. And I didn't want to let that happen. And so that's when I got really passionate about what is it that I want? How can I get my message out there to help other people in the same way? I know I'm not the only one who feels like this. I think these are important conversations that we need to have with ourselves and with each other. My whole reason in starting this YouTube channel was to talk about this and ultimately, maybe help you think differently about your life so that you can find fulfillment. Get out of the comfort zone. We get into these modes of like go to work and come home and have dinner and watch TV. And it's just these patterns that we repeat because we don't know what else to do. I want to talk about these patterns so that we can figure out what else to do. I have a free community. The link is down below in the comments. I have a free community if that was something that you wanted to just come and check us out. We need to figure out, I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 40 or 70. We need to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. Because make no mistake, you still have the rest of your life. The ultimate question is, what is my purpose now? Right? It's a purpose question. It's so much more than what do I like to do? What hobbies do I want to start? That's all part of the process, but ultimately it's a purpose question. It's a fulfillment, understanding and unearthing what your purpose is now that everything has changed. If you like this video, come back. My goal is to upload a new video every week. I've got some plans for this channel and I think this is going to be great. I think we're going to create a really super community here, that there's nothing more important for a woman in midlife, again, whether you are 40 or you are 70 or 80. There's nothing more important than finding your purpose and creating moments of fulfillment in your life. I'm not saying everything has to be perfect all the time, but you've got to have moments. That's what keeps us getting up in the morning. Those moments that we hang on to, that we create intentionally. That's what we're going to talk about. So I hope you come back and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.